So this is how it's going to work. We are now live. Hopefully you can see me okay. Everybody good? Welcome. Sorry for the delay. I was trying to get everything started here. So what is going on is I am looking at Steam game demos from the Steam Next Fest. If you go to Steam, it's the big thing. A lot of demos are there. So thanks, Tommy, for the mic recommendations. We'll have it next stream, I promise. We'll have a louder mic. For some reason, the gold mic just doesn't do loud enough. I don't know why there isn't a loud button. Like, just be louder. I can't. I am dialed up to max on everything. So I'm also going to turn these down just so that it's just me. How's the voice? How's everything good now? I'm like literally screaming as loud as I can. I've got everything turned up to as high as it can possibly go. Sounds pretty awesome right now. Good. For some reason, some microphones are like, no, we don't need all volume. Why would you make a microphone that doesn't do all the volumes? Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go through this great game called Outpath. Outpath is awesome. Now, a lot of people make the wrong type of game for Steam. They really do. And it's the problem with, I write about marketing and things you can do to promote your game, but here's the thing, folks. I'm gonna be straight dead honest with you. It's the game. It comes down to the game. And even if you make a high quality game that has no bugs, good controls, if it's the wrong genre, wrong type of game, it's just not gonna sell. I mean, I'll be dead honest with you. And so I wanna make this channel all about the games that actually sell on Steam. And the games that typically sell on Steam is the type of games that sell on Steam are what I kind of call crafty, buildy, simulation-y games. They revolve around you building stuff, crafting things, everything. And Lee, yes, everything is maxed out, like even the input. I've got a special little red box, and it is cranked as high. Let me tell you, folks, I am cranked. It's just this stupid microphone. Anyway, so what I'm saying is the crafty building games don't have to be super complicated. These are the types of good games that'll be doing well on Steam, and Outpath is one of them. All right, so this is what I mean by crafty building games. Outpath is the excellent thing. I'm just gonna go into it. I'm gonna stop chit-chatting here. Let's go back to it. This is Outpath behind me. Great game. Let's take a look. So, couple things. Menus are very important about this, like getting those wish lists up. First thing, wish list down here. I'm not a big fan of it. It's so low, and it's like the darkest text. I would say if you're gonna do it, I would make it fully thing. Let me even. I'm a little off crop here. Okay, this should do. I'm working on ultra wide, and we're gonna adjust this real quick. Sorry, folks. And what happens here is this little display here for the game. If you look, it's almost like they're ashamed to wishlist your game. You want that thing big and bold. I'd put it at the top, above play. Anyway, so that's kind of what it is. And Twitter, I mean, why still even point to Twitter? Huh? How about a newsletter or your Discord? Both of those are better options for this. But anyway, let's go in and play the demo. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, Steam, the players in Steam love crafty buildy games, and this is the most crafty buildy game before. Now, what I did was I already started playing just to make sure this game wasn't hot garbage or something. And it's not. This is an awesome game, and you should be taking notes, all of you. Okay. So, Outpath. Made by, I did some little background research. One developer. A lot of people were like, I like to kind of to mix up the games. You know, it's like some are small, some are big. Yesterday we did like huge team. It was 50 people making the game Enshrouded. It was 50 people on that team. Huge game. Okay. And a lot of people are like, well, what's the indie dream? How can I do it just as one person? This game is made by one person, and there are a couple of musicians. Oh, I should have done credits. There's a credits section. One name's on there, and then 2 people for the music and sound effects. That's it, folks. So this is possible. And this game, I estimate, and we'll go into it in 30 minutes, is made, has earned about 60,000 wish lists based on my estimate, and I'm probably doing much better. And I found this on Steam Next Fest. It's a little hard right now, but one of the most popular demos in the simulation subgenre. This is not the top. This is like a good medium-term game. And I wrote that blog post called Missing Middle. This is a missing middle game, okay? Now, I think it's taken them about 9 months, maybe. I'm finding out. But anyway, I'm going to activate this thing. It's basically there. So I love this game. So this game here, it looks very like rudimentary, but this game is hot. So if you are aware of a game called Forager, Forager came out a number of years ago. Has it been like a decade? It's been a long time. Super hot game. But the audience for Forager likes is so hot. Like, they want this game. Like these kind of crafty, buildy games. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just collecting resources. And what you do is you just expand your islands. So here's these little islands. And what you do is the Forager, like this whole sub genre of builder games is these Forager likes. And basically, I think the kind of tropes of the genre are very small islands that you're on, and you collect resources, very Minecraft style. And then you craft things, like here's your resources. Inventory, very simple inventory. If you press this, you can build stuff. Like I'm gonna build. They really want me to build a crafting table, so I'm gonna build this crafting table. I need fibers, some fibers. That tree popping right back up. Whoops. So I think you get the fibers from grass. This is basically what you do. And you craft and build, and you start building stuff just like Minecraft. And the thing I love about this is I am already crafting things, collecting stuff. If you remember, this is a very similar loop to Enshrouded, which I played yesterday, and you can watch the stream there, just down below. Watch this. I remember that game. I spent like 30 minutes playing that game, and I spent, in all that time, I still couldn't build my starting base. Here it is, 5 minutes, I've already built my starting base, which is this little workbench here. Like this game is like stripped everything away. It is down to like the most core. It's kind of like an idler game, we'll get to there, mixed with a crafting, building, Minecrafty style game. And it's made by one guy, like a man from Spain. There's one man from Spain making this game. And it is amazing. Look, it's got day and night cycles. But what I love about this is you don't have to make the biggest game in the world. And I love how, look at these trees. And this is no dig on the art. I love how pure this is. Look at this. It's like one billboard. It's not even two different sprites. It's one sprite in a cross. Like, I love it. This is so good. It is focusing on exactly what Steam players want. They don't want all this Flash stuff. I mean, some people do, but AAA space, III, Enshrouded that I played yesterday, let them have it. You can create a game if you are one person in Spain or one person anywhere in the world. Okay, you can do it, and I'm doing it right now. I'm playing this game. This is amazing. So here's what you do. You just basically haul this stuff in, and the core is expanding your base. And so here it is. So expand biome, that's what I want to do. And you get these points, and you got to get to 350 to expand it. Now, this is the part. See these, that part that looks like a V, like a double V thing? That's your, like, experience points or something like that. And you collect those, and I'm still not entirely sure how to collect them. And I think it's just like everything you do gets you a few points here and there. And that's all we're doing. And so I want to expand my base, and I can just jump. Remember how I jumped in Enshrouded and I just died? You can just jump into the ocean. You can swim around a little bit. Then you can kind of just like climb yourself up on here. Folks, this is pure. This is so pure. I love how pure this game is. And it just shows you, we're going to go in at the 30-minute mark, and we're going to look. This game's sitting on 60,000 wish lists. This game is hot right now. Perfect Steam. When I say crafty building game, this is it. And you remember how Enshrouded, like, I picked up a journal and it had an entry from somebody named Balthazar, and there was like the curse of the embers, and I'm the last of the kind, and the 7 keys of Vamtuzler, and the coming in, and all. This is so pure. Look at how pure this is. It is just a person clicking a tree, and then logs come out, and then I got to go over here, and I can jump into here, and then I go, and this is indie game development, folks. When I say the missing middle, this is what I'm talking about. And I just love this game. And this makes me still love this industry. Is like stuff like this is just so pure. It is me just chopping down flowers that look like that. God, it's so fun, and it's doing well, and we're gonna go into why it's doing well. But this really is what it is, and this is why I'm trying to get to, my goal here is to get to the 350. So I gotta go off and chop stuff. I think I can do things like let's look at the workbench, and I know I'm not optimizing this. I'm not min-maxing, but come on, let's have fun. Why does everything have to be min-maxed? Okay, let's see what I can do. Sand. I love how just simple the menu is. It's just like a couple floating squares. It's just so good. Oranges. I'm a little low on food. Let me get an axe. Okay, so I can get these trees. I need to get, what is that? A little bit of flint. Let me see if I can find some. So I got to find some flint. Again, this is pure. This, you know how like Minecraft has like all this stuff built up. You got this like huge open world. This game is just like, nope, just these islands. That's all you need. It is just, everything is stripped away. And when you are working on your games, you're like, what should we make? A copper deposit? What should we make? It's like, you don't need to go maximalist. You know, you can find this stuff. I hope this is flint. It's always about the rocks. You know, it's like these games always come down to finding the right rock. I mean, really, that's just life. But it's like, there it is. Maybe that's flint. But anyway, what I'm saying is, like, you don't have to build this giant world if you just focus on what's fun about a game. Did I get flint? Let me see. Let me look at my inventory. Is that flint that I got? Artifacts, food. Let me look at this. Stone. Flint! Got 3. I think that's enough. So I am going to get this axe. So, yes, craft it. And then it just does it. It starts bumping that little table around. That table's jiving on it. And then, not enough. Still got to get some more points here. But what I'm saying is, folks, it doesn't have to be like a huge linear narrative game. And we'll get to, I'll do a linear narrative game that's doing well in Steam Next Fest. But, guys, it can be as simple as coal deposits bumping on the top of a rock like this. It's just so pure, so pure. And that's what I'm trying to show you all, is that play these games that Steam loves, because they're a little bit different. Like I find that a lot of indie devs kind of come from the Nintendo, kind of the Switch, where Nintendo games are very specific. They're platformers. Pretty much Nintendo is the only platform that really sells platformers anymore. They're a lot more narrative. They're much more linear. A lot of indies come from that discipline, but those type of games just don't do as well on Steam. These craftier, buildier games like Outpath are really where it is. This one. Oh, did you see my island exploded? Let's see if I can find it. There it is. See over there? New stuff out there. So there's probably going to be new resources. I think my new axe showed up. Let me see. Let me check my tools. There it is. Look at that little thing. Okay, right click to equip. Okay. So now let's see if I can do it. Am I going to be axing now? Let's see. I should research recipes. Look at this tutorialization. It's just like research recipes in the research table. So I'll make the research table. Let's see if this works. I think that they don't even have like an axe hammering something. There's like, you just have the axe. There's no animation. The tree bounces a little fast. This is so pure. This is so pure. And this is what I mean by crafty buildy games. You are not necessarily doing this deep linear story where you have to make a boss and all this. You're just making some trees that bounce when I click them and stuff comes out. I didn't have to make a creature creator. You saw it from the beginning. I don't have to make my character creator. You don't even see, there's a chicken all of a sudden. So just innocent. I just love how innocent it is. Okay, let me see if I can craft that research station, which they really want me to do. Let me see if I can find it. Look at that. Anyway, there's all of a sudden there's a cow. Whoops. Let me see if I can get that research station going here. Let me see. Research. I think that might be this research station. Whoops. Research table. Got enough. Research is based on flowers. You got to get enough flowers. And let's see here. There it is. Okay. Look at that. Just doing it. So let's see what we can research here. Let's do a tech tree. Every Steam game needs a tech tree. That's like, if you want to know what type of game Steam likes, it has to, like most of the time, it has to have a minimum of a tech tree. And here it is. So we're going to start researching it. So in about 10 minutes, I'm going to cut away from this, and we're going to look and diagnose what's going on. So we're going to do a thing. How much research doing? I need those 50 things. Research this thing. Look at it. Just bouncing. Everything just bounces. Like, that's all it is. It's not like they had to do all this complicated stuff. These are the type of games that just are perfect for Steam. Let's do the shovel. I need flint. That flint. All right. Let's see what I can just craft here. I think I'm getting low on food, so I'm gonna craft. Let's get a bunch of these. Remember how I had to do that like meat last time, and I accidentally ate the wrong meat? No worries here, folks. It's just berries. So I'm just watching bounce. I think I got this thing. Let's see here. Copy build. I think the research is done. Let's take a look here. Now we can do anvil, sleeping bag. Let's do the sleeping bag. Spinning wheel. I'm definitely gonna go for the bag. Let's research it. All right. Let's see. There we go. We got that. Okay, so I'm gonna eat my stuff here. Again, this is just, it's simple. Here's the thing: is when I talk about these crafting games, it's simple presentation-wise. We got the trees that look like this. We've got very simple graphics, very simple text. But the depth is there. That is what's unique. Is I've got food meters, which is draining on me right now. I'll get it. But you have recipes and research and tech trees and all that stuff. That is, if I could sum up Steam, this is the perfect Steam game. It is deep, but the graphics are simplified. They're just as pure as could be. And I hope this is not like a dig on all this. Let's see what I have to do here. How do I? Oh, there it is. Like, it doesn't even have to do the animation of me like stuffing an orange in my face. It's just a little circle around the thing. If you are hitting Steam in the numbers, just like the right type of game that they like, the world's your oyster, folks. And we'll take a look at the numbers again in 10 minutes. And this is what I write about in my blog. So if you're new here, I don't know how you would randomly get here, but I write a blog called howtomarketagame.com. Just head over there. I have a newsletter every week where I write about this stuff. Look, this isn't even written by Balthazar. They're just like, this allows you to see. Here's a book, not written by Balthazar. There you go. Now, no dig. Like, no dig on Enshrouded that I played yesterday with a huge story about, like, it had like a sea shanty. Like, I found a book with a sea shanty. Somebody wrote a sea shanty. That's totally cool. Steam also likes that. But if you are, and there's no shade on Enshrouded, but if you are a small developer who doesn't have the time to make a 4-year project and 50 people, you can cut all that stuff out. Steam will still like it. And so what I'm trying to tell you all is, if you focus on the type of games that Steam really likes, these crafty, buildy, simulation-y games, it is possible. And the audience is just there for it. And it's just so important to just going to break this, just destroyed a book. I hope I got that research. And that's it. Now, we'll look at it at the history of this developer, but this developer has made several games on Steam. This is not their first time making a game. So it is there, but I find a lot of people quit after their first game. Now, I can't remember if the first game did okay. I think it did okay, but their second one did much better, and then this one did really good. Let's see how many. I need 800 of these points. And so I'm just totally jazzed by these type of games. I just love them. So what I recommend for you all is play a lot of these crafty, buildy, simulation-y games, because these are the games that just hit Steam. Now, a lot of this one might actually do okay on consoles, but that's the big lesson I have people, like, maybe you want to become a game developer because you played a lot of games on Switch. And you're like, or growing up playing Nintendo. I was a Nintendo kid. But after you play a lot of those console games, a lot of console games are about what I call going around. It's a quote from this podcast that they're still around, but this one, her name was Ann Scantleberry, and she used to say, "Oh, this game you go around." I'm actually going to do a whole lecture on this someday. Most console games, AAA games, are just a dude going around. You just go around. And I know this is going around, but really what's going on here is you're building something. That's the crux of the game, is you are building something as opposed to just like going and content runs past you. Instead, I'm here. I am, keep coming back to this place. These are really, for the money. I mean, you can still do all right if you maybe do a Metroidvania or something, but that's why linear games are so hard, is because you, as an indie, have to generate so much content that it is ridiculous how much work you have to put into it in order to make a game that satisfies the tastes of the audience. Whereas this game, man, I'm just like, I love just animations, Bob. And look at that. They don't even have a run cycle for the cow. It's just a cow that kind of bounces. This is so pure. My goodness. I'm just in awe of this game. I just love how pure it is. This is what you got to do. And like, I fall off the island, but I get right back up again. It just really talks to the struggle of man. We're born on the island, and then we just fall off, but we get back up again. I can even just jump right on there. I love how it just is so permissive about you getting back onto the island. Let's go back over to this little desert island over here. I don't know why I decided to spawn all the way over there. But another thing is, like, they didn't have to make a huge world just on these little self-contained islands. Now, let me talk to another point about this. So if you haven't, I would also recommend that you play Forager. Forager was the game that kind of invented this super subgenre, and it's basically, like I said, little islands, and you keep doing these islands, and you craft and create your base and mine these resources, and eventually you don't have to mine these as much. You generate tools that automatically do this stuff for you. In fact, I'm going to go to research to see what else I should be researching. The game had a lot of life in it, but it was a 2D top-down pixel art game. And a lot of people think when they see a game, and they're like, well, I'm going to do this genre mixed with this genre, with this genre. This game is still very similar to Forager. Like, from the gameplay, the tech tree is a little bit different, but a lot of it is very similar. They didn't say, like, oh, we're going to mash crossword puzzles with dating sim plus Forager. They're just like, it's just Forager in 3D. And I have found that if you find a game that's really good, you think there's a lot there, there's two ways that you can do it. You can just take the game, if it's a 3D game, and make it 2D, which a game I talked about earlier was called Zero Sievert. That was a game I wrote about. They took a very complex 3D AAA quality, like, extraction shooter, as they're called, and they just flattened it and made it single player. And that was, in the game, hit that audience, because even though that game was popular, that it was based off of these kind of extraction shooters, there's a whole audience that's like, it's just too complicated for me. It's too intense. It's too complicated. I don't want to play multiplayer. I just want to play single player. And what they delivered was just a single player, flat, more relaxing, flat, top down. It's just more relaxing as a medium. And they were like, great, this is great. And the game did so well. With this, they took Forager, which is top down, and they just added the third dimension to it, so you can, like, run and jump to these islands. But graphically, I actually think it's more simple. Like, I think their characters, whenever they had something, they would actually have run cycles. This is just a bouncing cow. And that's great. That is fine. And that is what indie devs, like true solo devs, is about, stripping away. What can you get rid of? What can you strip away? Because that's really what matters here. There's other side things here. What's it? Buy leather bundle. Just a bundle of leather. Leather. And that's it. That's what this game's all about. So what I'm going to do, let's see how many more of these points. Let me research something really fast. I know I'm probably like, it's really hard for me to talk about this while I'm looking at it, but I'm going to see if I'm probably missing some key upgrade that just allows me to, like, just automatically mine stuff. Let's see what these things are. What is this? Spinning wheel allows you to craft various useful items. Allows you to craft various useful tools. Look at that. The description is just this. It didn't say the anvil of Balthazar with the gold enchantments of the nethers of Bivelsum. No, they're just like, it's just an anvil. Love it. All right, collection net catches objects from time to time in the sea, sometimes even fish. That seems like such a clutch thing to do. What? Oh, I need like 14,000 V points. Let's see if there's something else I can do. I think I might flint sword, flint shovel, sand. You just want some sand. Let's see. Let's do it. Let's craft this sword. I guess I could just attack that cow. Let's attack the cow. Let's see how much time I got left. It's 30 minutes. Let's attack the cow, see what happens, and then go from there. Let's see here. Let's load this thing up. This I kind of improved, but just give me the sword. Like I just picked it up. Just put it in my inventory. Let's attack whatever creature I see first. Whatever you. Let's get you. All right. A bottle. I need an item. Let's do it. Let's just see what happens. I'm sorry, cow. Let's see what we got. We got hide and meat. Meat and hides. So there it is. That is Outpath. Again, these are the type of games that Steam just goes crazy for. And the whole point here is these games are deep, not necessarily like super beautiful. I think the graphics are neat. They're charming. But it's not like you have to like render it in like Unity or like Unreal vector, shaders and stuff like that. So look at this. As long as it's deep, and so you can prioritize. Now, if you have an artist on staff that's amazing, then you can go that way and just go super detailed art. But I find if you can cut the art budget if you go in depth, and that's what these Forager likes. These Forager crafting building games, they just keep expanding. There's so much to build and collect and optimize. It's like a clicker. And so these games just have hours of content, and the content is provided by the metagame, by the structure of the build tree and the values, collecting these V points, whatever they are, that I have 71 of. Oh, I'm starving too, so I'm just gonna quit. We'll just pause it right here. Let's take a look. I'm gonna switch over, and we're gonna look at some of the Steam page and kind of look at the marketing and how they got to where they are. Because as I've estimated, this game has about 60,000 wish lists, which is hot. This is a hot game, okay? So let me switch over real quick. Hopefully I don't like do something. Let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna do a new browser window here. Let's see here. And here we go. We did it. Okay. I just got to put myself in the front. So we're going to look at, I'm going to look along with you, all the ways that I've kind of looked at this game. So here's their Steam page. Experimental clicker game, craft, gather, manage resources, build your base, and buy more islands to exploit and expand. It's not actually that fantastic of a short description. I would do a little bit more unique. I'd even say like Forager, like I would just go for it. Because I always ask myself, anytime I read a short description, could this describe a different game? And this could describe like Minecraft, basically, right? Other than the, let's see, clicker based building game. Other than that, it's basically a description of Minecraft. I don't really like that. I always like to put at least something that's unique. Maybe the 3D, I would just say 3D Forager, like, I know it's weird, but, okay, one thing. Look at this great capsule, by the way. Look at this capsule. Got that pickaxe. I always say if you're doing a crafty buildy game, you got to include a pickaxe or a hammer. You just have to. This signals to people, look at this, I'm crafting. They've got resources, the islands, a chicken. It's beautiful. And people always ask me, if I have a pixel art game, do I need to do illustrations? Yes, I think you do. Because if you just see a screenshot like this or this, people are going to be like, is this Mrs. Johnson's first grade class that made this? No shade on the art. But this game works better in motion and when you see the depth of it. But the art by itself is charming, but some people might think this is an asset flip cheap game. And what happens is when you see this beautiful capsule, it tells you that this is a game with a substance, okay? Now, part of the thing I looked at was I looked at SteamDB, my favorite site. Like if I just type STE, it actually brings me to SteamDB and not Steam. That's how much I go to this site. So I look at the charts and we're going to look at how many wish lists estimated does Outpath have. And if we look, they have a ton. So at last count, now you can see the upswing during Steam Next Fest. They're at about 60,000. So right at start of Steam Next Fest, I counted it. It was like right at 6,000 followers. And what you basically do is you multiply your followers by 10, sometimes 9. It depends on how they did their marketing. But we're talking 60,000 wish lists. This is doing really well. And look at this upswing when they did. So they started in December 2022. So about a year, a little less than a year, they've been out on Steam, which is perfect. That's really what you should be doing, is making sure that you have this. Oh, we've got. Do we have the dev in here? I'm kind of two minds here. So is that David? Are you saying you do have 100,000? Combat. Okay. But anyway, so here's what's happening. Is they've marketed very well. I went back and I couldn't find the exact tweet. I went through the developers' tweets just to kind of see what their progress was. And then what they did was they actually launched with a demo, which they launched their Steam page. So they did Steam page and demo at the same time. That's fine. It's done well for them. I always like to do a couple steps. Like I like to put up the Steam page, see how much traction I get with a trailer and that sort of thing, see how much traction I get there, and then do a beta, see how much traction I get there, then do a demo, get a lot of traction there. In other words, it's like having your birthday and Christmas on the same day. You don't get as many presents. You want to space those out so you get as many presents. Now, they're doing fine. It's okay. And part of the reason is they've got an amazing game. And you can tell that it's amazing. I always say, like, people are like, do I have an amazing game? It's like, I don't know. Let's look. See what the community wants from it. And so what I did is I just searched YouTube for Outpath just to see, like, what is going on. How are they doing? And if you look, one of the best signs I've seen is if a single streamer will play the same game multiple times, like a demo. And if you look, here's Wanderbots, played it 11 days ago. That means they got an early copy of it. If you scroll back down, keep going down, Wanderbots played it again 9 months ago. Look at that. And then you go down here, and Wanderbots played it a third time. There's me playing it right here. I think I counted 3 times. I think it was, yeah. Wanderbots has played this game 3 times. 3 times. And it's the demo. The demo 3 times. This is a sign that this game is hot. And that's the type of thing. That's why these buildy, crafty games can do this, because it's about optimizing. It's about trying a new path. It's not about, hey, did I beat the boss? Because when you make a linear game where it's like linear content, it is just like, well, I beat the boss. I don't need to play this game again. That is so hard on Steam, whereas these crafty, buildy games can just generate so much traffic. And so many people are playing this game that is what's giving them the lift. Now, the other thing that's interesting here, here's their Steam page. I did a little poking around, and it looks like, this is cool, they did the prologue trick. They did the prologue trick, which, if you don't know, just search my blog, howtomarketagame.com. Search for prologue trick. I wrote a whole article on how this works. And basically, if your game is hot, and by what I mean is a hot game is if, like, a streamer will play it 3 times. That's a hot game. That's a game that people love. If you have that type of game, you can do the prologue trick, where you basically, you buy another $100, you throw the game up there. They called it First Journey. Usually they use the term prologue or something, and it's basically your demo. It's the same code. I don't know if they did a slight difference. You do it, and basically, if you can get this game up into new and trending, popular, upcoming, all those, like, ladder of visibility that Steam gives you, if you can get the game up in there, you get Steam to promote a free demo, and you get so much visibility. Look at how many reviews this has. This has 3,800 reviews. This is how you market a game on Steam. If your game's hot, you can do this. And so they did that. I think that's why Wanderbots played it. And this is just such a test of how marketable is my game. And they did it. When did this game launch? December. Oh, so they did it real fast. I think they may have even launched with a prologue, which is nuts. That is brave. That is brave. You have to know that your game's good. I would not be that brave. I would have tried doing the beta prologue demo before the prologue. If I detected that the demo was doing hot, I got Wanderbots to play it like 2 times, then I would go and make the prologue. Because if you do the prologue without it, it's not like Valve hates you and slaps you down. It's just you wasted all this promotional effort on something that doesn't go. Because if your prologue does not take off, it just flatlines, and you'll get like maybe 100 reviews. And then you did all this work, all this promotional, and it just doesn't really do anything. The strength of the prologue is if you can get it up into the Steam algorithm so that it gets like 1,000 wish lists. That is the secret with this. And so this game's fun. People played it over and over again. I love it. The developer does show up Ask them what the median playtime is of the prologue. We'll get some great stuff. That's basically how you do it. And that's Outpath. And that's why if you look at their first month, basically, they got 40,000 wish lists, I estimate, in their first month. And I think it was from the prologue trick, all the streamers playing it. And then you can see it's just a nice, steady increase. And then there's another boop right at the end. This is how you do it, but you have to have the game that Steam likes for this to work. My bet is, and I kind of went through, but I think the developer has about 1,700 thereabouts, somewhere in the thousands of Twitter followers. This game is not, and again, I think it's charming, but it's not the type of game that goes viral on Twitter. It just doesn't have that graphical fidelity that Twitter and most people like. It has depth of play, and this is one of those games. I've given a talk about this. If you look up one of my talks, just search how to market a game. I talk about games that sell themselves based on how deep they are, how fun they are to play. This game knew we live and die based on how well we play, and they did. They did great. This game is so fun to play. It's so pure, so fun. I don't have to read about Balthazar before I get to craft my stuff. That game gets me crafting within like 5 minutes. So it's so fun. That's their marketing strategy. It's not based off of tweets and Reddit. I mean, they may have done some, but I have a feeling most of the lift came from the prologue trick. That's what I'm thinking. And so they launch pretty soon, so we'll find out exactly how well it converts. But based on the fact that their prologue has gotten 3,000 reviews, that's a good sign that when the game fully launches, and I think it's like in a week or two, it's going to be fantastic. And I found them because I did some filtering. I did most played demo that is simulation. And if you look at their tags here, buildy, crafty management games. This, folks, this is the type of game that Steam wants. Everybody's like, well, I've done genre research. I don't know what Steam actually wants. It's this. They want crafty, buildy, simulation-y games. Games with really deep tech trees. You collect resources. You build stuff. And a lot of people say, like, well, is it going to be popular in like a year or 2 years? Yes. And the thing is, you can't dive down and say this specific one subgenre. It's really like, it's more of what I mean by like a kind of like a suite of features, which is, that's why I call it crafty, buildy, simulation-y games. It's not like one specific type of game. It's more of like what you're doing. You're not going around exploring and then battling a boss like, you know, most AAA games. You're really just like, you're plopped down and you got to kind of build yourself out. And so that's why I wanted to cover this game, is it's really all about that sort of stuff. I want to show you a couple other things that I thought was interesting. One, look at this dev. Awesome. You clicked his name right here. Davi Projects. This is the developer. He's got his developer page set up. He's got 212 followers. That's great. I mean, it just takes time to build these up. But as you can see, the developer has made several types of games. The guy's like 23 now. That's insane. So he was 18, doing quick math, if he's 23 now, it's 2023. At age 18, he made Medieval Shopkeeper Simulator. This guy's released, I think, 3 games, 4? Because I can't tell if, I think this is a sequel. Hymno is a sequel to this one. The guy is putting out the games. These are the games. Like, okay, so he's already started with a great game. Look, simulation, management, adventure. Even at age 18, the guy knew Steam games are all about buildy, crafty games. I don't know if he consciously did it or did the research, but this guy knows. Look at that menu. This is a Steam menu. A Steam menu with a bunch of little boxes and you got to pick things. That's Steam right there. So there's that. And then he did make a platformer, pixel art platformer. So how well did Shopkeeper? 254 reviews is fantastic. I mean, it's mixed. It's your first game. You were never going to succeed. The guy didn't quit at age 18. He kept making games, even though he only got 254 reviews, which is very good for a first game, especially if you're 18. At age 18, I had no games out, so I got essentially 0 reviews. When I was 18, I don't think Steam fully existed. So everybody got 0 reviews. But what I'm saying is, fine, he carried on. He didn't like give up. Then Hymno, a pixel art platformer, actually did well. This guy knows, but it's not just a pixel art platformer. It's like a it's much deeper procedurally generated. It's deep. Oh, it's free to play. That's probably why. So it didn't cost anything. But you'll see it's already got that buildy, crafty. So the guy just has a good sense of the type of games that do well on Steam. I don't know how conscious, like if he planned it out there. And then I think he did a paid game. Yeah, he did do a paid game. It only got 220. So it didn't do as well as the other free one. So, but that's typical for platformer games. They just don't sell as well. I don't know what it is. And then his newest one is Outpath, which is just doing very well. Now this is again a free one that got up to 3,000. I hope for good things for Outpath, and I think it'll do well, just based on the fact that the game's playable. The big thing is that somebody has played the game and they reviewed it. Wanderbot's played it 3 times, so we know it's quality. A lot of these games where like the conversion didn't work very well, the game had never been played. In other words, like people put out demos and that sort of thing. Well, they had never put out a demo. They just had screenshots and stuff like that. And then when people play it, they're like, oh, this game's not actually that fun. This game we know is fun. I just played it. Wanderbot's played it. The free prologue played it. So you can really see how you can really understand what's going on here. So I'm going to go for about 10 more minutes because you all need to get back to making games. To see if there's any questions from anybody in the chat. Oh, do we have the dev there? Oh, Outpath, because I love Forager, and I'm so happy that we're able to get these developers into the chat. Thank you so much for coming, Outpath developer. I'm just really impressed with the game. I think it's so classic Steam. Maybe if you talk about how you develop these games, like how you decide to do these games, you're just you just have a really good sense of what the Steam market likes. So I'm really impressed with what you do. I thought a lot about and researched before making. Sorry, just cuts out. The way the interface for the chat works, there's a heart button right over what you're saying, so can't quite see it. Oh yeah, I kind of I knew he's in there, but let's see here. Let's see what's saying here. Let's see, 2 hours median play time for the game. That is hot. So we've done research where I've asked a lot of developers, how long was the median playtime on your demo? And what we find is that once you get above like 25 minutes, that's a good sign. If your median playtime for your game is like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, that means a significant portion of people are going like, this game is not for me. This game's just not for me, out. And if you got too much of that, that's a bad sign. Now, there's a few games that I saw that are very, 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 very niche that had short play times, but they had a dedicated audience that played for hours and hours. So if you see 9 minutes and then you see a big spike at the end, that means you just filtered out all the people. But that's for a very niche game. If your game's like not niche, like this was a game that was like simulating war. I think it was like if you were running a spaceship and it was a very technical game and scared away everybody but a very hardcore audience. I think it did okay. That's one case, but for the most part, if you see median play times over 25 minutes, that's a good sign. If you see somebody like Wanderbots play it 3 times, that's a good sign. If you put out a free prologue and you get 3,000 reviews, that's a good sign. So if you go to my site, howtomarketagame.com/benchmarks, I've collected a lot of these kind of benchmarks based on how games have done success-wise. And there's no one figure that you can look at and say, oh, I got a median play time of 30 minutes, so my game's going to be a success. It's not like that. I say you kind of assemble a constellation of success metrics, and if you see lots of positive signs, that indicates that you might have a good success. Again, nobody knows, but what I typically look at for success metrics are a lot of wish lists. Like they're able to generate them. We never know how well they're going to convert, but if you're getting a lot of wish lists, that's a good sign. If your median playtime is above 25 minutes, that's a good sign. If streamers are playing the game over and over and over, that's a good sign. If you put out a prologue and it goes viral and you have 3,000 reviews on your prologue, that's a good sign. So again, you're just assembling all these things and you're like, okay, we're feeling pretty confident of it. If a lot of those things that I just listed are not going positive, then it's like, cut development, let's get the game out, let's go. Let's go on to our next one. That's the name of the game, folks. And I find one of the big problems that indies do is they spend way too long on a game that's just not showing the signs. And they try and add stuff and keep building on top of a game that's never going to convert well. It's best just to like ship it, say sayonara, like maybe do a 21 gun salute in the air with not real bullets. Don't shoot bullets in the air, but have a 21 gun salute and then send it off into the ocean, like dump it in the ocean and be proud of it. But, you know, move on from there. Okay. Let's see. A couple other things. Let's see if there's any other chat from Outpath. So we did some research to see. I can't believe at 23, and Mike knows, we were total idiots. I've known Mike since we were like 17, I think, up there in the chat. We were total jackasses at age 23. I don't know how you've released so many games and done so well at age 23. So congrats to you. I don't know. Do you drink mineral water? What is it? How do you do it? Yes, Mike, we still are jackasses, but you own an automobile. So anyway, if you've got any other tips, like do you do push-ups in the morning? How do you do it at age 23? Whatever it is, you're doing great, and I'm really excited to see how Outpath does going forward. But you've really just keyed in on that, and a home mic. That's very true. You've just keyed in on really what the Steam audience likes. I hate mineral water, by the way, but I will drink it if it does as well for you. If that's what it takes to put out a game like Outpath, bring in the mineral water. I'll choke it down. Yep. So Outpath Dev says, I researched why players keep playing a game, what makes them continue playing, and it's human behavior and how we think. So just you have that insight. So yeah, and I should put it out there that the Outpath developer did have a publisher, so they are working with a publisher. But let me tell you, folks, a publisher can help, but a game with a 2-hour median play time, a prologue that does that well, that is the game. And not to shade on the publisher, they did a great job. I really like their commitment to doing prologues, putting the game out, putting the demo out. If I could ask to the developer of Outpath, are you going to keep your demo up? What's your thoughts as far as the demo once you do your full launch? I know it might be the publisher doing some decisions. I'm just kind of curious what they are thinking as far as the getting the demo out, whether you're going to turn off the demo or keep it up. Either way is fine. I can see arguments on both sides. My hunch, I would have to look at the stats, but I have a feeling if it cuts off in a very exciting way, like let's say you build 2 islands and all of a sudden it says, oh, here we go, and you really tease it well. If you see good stats of like a lot of people reaching the end of this demo, like if you put in analytics and you see a lot of people stop and then they click a button that says wish list after that, if you're seeing a good conversion rate, that means your demo is actually converting very well, and I would just keep it up even after launch. So if the developer, he's going to keep the demo and the prologue up after launch. So we'll watch how this goes. I think the game seems like it's very strong, and I didn't have time to get to the end of the demo. How are you cutting off the demo? How are you constricting the content? Because this is the big challenge with these deep simulation-y buildy games, is that once you either open it up to all the content and people can try as much as they want, but then they kind of get tired of the game, you have to like let them have the freedom but still constrict them. So is there some gate where at the end you just slam the gate down and say no more? Is it a time-based? Is it based off of upgrades? What's it based off of? I'd love to hear it, because this is the big question. I'm not a game designer. That's not my primary thing. So I don't like to give game design advice. I just like to say, hey, try these games. So I really, for all of those watching, we're wrapping up here. I would just recommend play this game. Like, this is, people always ask, like, how do I make a game? I'm a solo developer. How do I make a game that Steam likes? It is this. It is crafty, buildy. You don't have to have the best graphics as long as you've got this depth. Like, you saw those tech trees. Like, the tech tree keeps expanding. The islands keep expanding. And this isn't the most revolutionary game. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that to begrudge. It's based heavily on Forager. Like, I would play this game and I'd play Forager. You don't have to reinvent what a game is. You can take a game, polish off the parts that you think are too rough, maybe bring a 3D game to 2D or take a 2D game and make it 3D like Outpath did. You don't have to like totally reinvent, and you also don't have to mash up genres. I think devs, the lesson I was talking about yesterday, these games that are doing very well aren't necessarily like these crazy mashups. Like, oh, it's a visual novel mixed with a clicker, mixed with a rhythm game and a dating sim. Ha, that'll get them. It's not. It's like, hey, we're just like Forager but in 3D, and we really improve some of the quality of life issues. That's the sort of stuff that does well. So I'm just checking to see what they say. No time-based because it's a chill game. I'm checking to see how he's gating the content. He's saying, but limiting the content. So it sounds like maybe you can't go to the upper tiers. You can't unlock all the upgrades. You can't unlock all the stuff because it. Let me pull up the Steam page while we're kind of rounding it out, just to kind of look at a couple things. Like one thing I like about these games, and I always say in screenshots, and I think you did a great job here, is show that variety. You've got to show that depth because that's what's selling these games on Steam is depth. And if you look at all the screenshots, like, oh, we've got like a desert environment, we've got a purple grass. Kids love purple grass. We've got a grass environment. We have these pink trees. We've got all kinds of things. We have these little cute little, marshmallows that come after you, like a snow biome, the fall biome. There's like not a single screenshot looks the same. And that just shows people. It's not like they purposely judge that. They just subconsciously are saying, this game is deep. This is a deep game. And so I think you did fantastic there. You got the bouncing trees. I am just so impressed by this game, and I just recommend it. Even if you're like, oh well, I don't like Forger, I don't like Minecraft. Try it. Just try these games because you got to learn what Steam wants, and it's not like a genre. I'm not saying like go off and make a Forager like, because who knows? Maybe in 2 years Forager likes kind of get stale. I don't think they will. Genres don't go away as fast as a lot of people think. But what you need to pick up on these is like the depth. What does a game that's not linear feel like? And I feel like a lot of people who come to indie games came from Nintendo where there isn't necessarily this like open world crafty buildy simulation-y. Maybe a little bit with Animal Crossing. But really, the types of games that do well on Steam are these games that I really only see kind of flourish on PC. And so before you make your next game for Steam, really play these crafty buildy games. I think you're gonna learn so much. So I think that's it. We're gonna wrap it up. I want you to do one thing. howtomarketagame.com/free. I write a book about 60 mistakes that you make when you're making your game. I'll tell you all the how to fix it, what common mistakes, traps that you're going to get into. So howtomarketagame.com/free. Do the subscribe thing because I'm just trying to get to 1,000. I don't want to say like and subscribe every time. I don't care. I just want to get to 1,000. That's it. I'm very close. So let's get to 1,000 and then I'll stop asking about this. The real thing I want you to do is howtomarketagame.com/free. I write a blog every week about stuff like how to do the prologue trick, how to get purple grass, how to get the kids to like you, how to drink mineral water and become a game dev by 23. I don't know what it is. Was it mineral water? What is it? You never did say. I think you just did the homework. I'm going to say try some mineral water too. We'll see if that works. Try a Fresca. Okay? That's it. I'm just going to end it right here. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I don't know what game it is, but come back tomorrow. We'll do something else. I'm not going to do specifically a crafty building game. I know I did 2 back-to-back. It's going to be something slightly different. We'll find out, but it is going to be a game that I think Steam likes, and that's what I really want to do with this channel is show people the type of game that Steam likes, because I find journalists, I find the games you like from Nintendo aren't the types of games Steam like. Nobody's really talking about these games. I want to talk about them, so that's what I want to do. So I'll see you all later. Good luck. Enjoy your frescas. I'll talk to you later. If I could just find the end stream button. It's all the way over here. Okay. Bye. I'm still here. Bye.